What's up, everybody? We back with it with another great video out in nature today, another self-improvement banger, and I'm talking about how I overcame burnout in my 20s. Burnout is not always that feeling of you crashing out or breaking down or something like that. Sometimes the signs are not as obvious as we think. Sometimes it's waking up in the morning and we don't want to wake up. It's hard to get out of bed. We watching those TikToks and things like that. We just always feel tired, or we might feel a little bit more irritable. Here's some signs. You could just be more irritable throughout your day. If you catch yourself getting irritated at little things or getting mad easily, that can be a sign of burnout. The thing about burnout is there are ways to mitigate burnout. You aren't stuck in this cycle of burnout. So let's get into what burnout is and how I overcame it. When I was facing burnout many times in college, even starting my working adult life, a lot of times we like to ignore it or act like it's not here or act like everything's fine. And a lot of people don't like to admit when they're burnt out. And that's the first step, is really being able to acknowledge that you're tired. Acknowledge that you're burnt out, whether that be physically. Some physical, I was just tired, didn't want to get out of bed, man. Like, it was just hard to get out of bed. I was always tired. And then I didn't want to do the things that I had to do. And I had to go dig deep into myself and my mental to really figure out what it was and how to reverse the effects of burnout. One of the pieces of burnout that I had was emotional burnout. Due to my job, I have the burden of holding people's traumas. At first, I kept taking these to heart. Everything somebody told me I would take to heart. And I had to learn that I had to emotionally remove myself from the situation and do my job, because I had to do my job description. And a lot of times that can be hard, especially when we care and when we're so invested in the things that we're doing. But you have to be able to rewire your mind depending on what that job is. You have to rewire your mind. And a quick little tip of how I kind of got rid of my emotional burnout was taking care of myself, pouring back into my cup. I had to incorporate meditation between every session so I could allow myself to live in the present moment and leave that session. A lot of times I'm in a session or I'm in work, and a lot of times when we're outside of work and work's done, we're still in work. We're still in that session. And we have to be able to remove ourselves. When it's no longer that 9 to 5 or whatever time you work, you need to remove yourself from that working situation, because if you're not, if you're thinking about work, if you're thinking about those things and it's not time to do it, that's when you reach burnout. You have to take breaks, right? Doing nothing is doing something. And when I say doing nothing is doing something, I mean sitting down on the couch and just resting, not doing TikToks, just doing nothing. We need absolutely nothing at some point in our day. How much time do we do nothing? I had a lack of motivation. I started falling off on doing content, and it's not because of the numbers or because I wasn't seeing anything. It's because when I got home, I was just so tired, and it had nothing to do with content. I was just so tired, and I just wanted to play the game and do these other things. But that's why I really had to start doing the things in my day, planning the gym as the first thing of my day. The first thing of my day, I shouldn't be waking up to my job, stress, these types of things. I should wake up to the gym, waking up to 30 minutes of peace. Having some time of just peace. Your first 30 minutes should be protected. A lot of times we get burnt out because we don't protect our first and last 30 minutes of our day. These first and last 30 minutes should not be spent on social media, should not be spent stressing, should not be spent in anxiety. In the beginning of the day, being able to wake your mind up, being able to do your affirmations, to be able to read the Bible, be able to read a book, whatever you believe, but being able to connect in with your higher being, or being able to connect in with yourself. Doing those positive affirmations in the morning, journaling at night, preparing for your next day. And whether that may be just making your schedule, making your tasks for the next day, and then reflecting on your day that you just had. Spending some time to reflect, because if we don't spend time to reflect, a lot of times we see these days add up and life goes by super fast. And life goes by super fast because we are not reflecting. So we need to take some time to reflect within our day. There's a big disconnect between being busy and being fulfilled. I understand we want to reach our full potential. We want to chase our passions, but that does not mean being busy. A lot of times when we're chasing our passions and doing things, sometimes meditation, eating right, going to the gym, these things ultimately do way more. And these things recharge our machine, recharge our being to be able to do more. If we are stuck on this level of efficiency and we're busy, how much can we accomplish? We need to make sure that we are constantly becoming better. We're constantly improving ourselves. We're constantly becoming better, not as in what we're doing, not as in how busy our schedule is, but how much time we're investing in ourselves. Because when we do that and we're excelling, then we can start accomplishing a lot more because we're reaching our potential. But a lot of times you can't reach your potential if you're just busy and you're just doing tasks and you're just getting things done, because at the end of the day, that is not what it takes to get to where I know we all want to be. A lot of times it comes with people pleasing and overworking. I wouldn't say I'm a people pleaser, but I definitely work hard. I definitely overwork myself. I'm definitely doing work tasks at 10, 11 at night, and that's something I had to stop. I had to clock out. I had to learn how to clock out. And a lot of times we feel like, oh, I don't want to clock out because nobody can do it as good as me, and I'm gonna be able to get it done. I'm the man to get it done. But sometimes you got to clock out. Even the owner of the business you work for clocks out. He has time to himself. He has time where he don't think about the business. And I really had to think about that. I was like, hey, is the owner up right now at 12 a.m. worrying about the business? And he probably is. But at the end of the day, he's the owner. I'm not. And I understand that my mindset of doing more and always excelling and being a hard worker is going to excel me in my personal and professional development. I have to find some boundaries. I have to be able to pull the plug at some time, because I can put in the hard work. I can still, go out and do me. But at the end of the day, I got to make sure that I have time to do me. And yeah, a lot of times it really came down to a lack of boundaries, me saying yes to everything and not having the power to say no. And once I seen how busy my schedule got, and once I seen how needed I am and how many people want my services, how many people need me, and how many people want the things that I could provide, I had to start saying no, because there's so many people asking for these things. There's so many people that want your time, so many people that want your attention. And at some point, you got to say no, 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 no. That's why I quit working weekends, because my weekends are for me. If I'm working Monday through Friday and it's been a year, every single day of the week, and a year go by, what have I accomplished for myself? When have I had time to just sit down? When have I had time to just record videos? So that's why I had to say, you know what? I'm no longer going to work weekends. That time is for me. And I had to stand on that. And no, it wasn't an easy decision, because yes, I want to work weekends. Yes, with the work I do, my guys want to do things on the weekends. But at the end of the day, if I say yes to them, I say no to myself. Me saying yes to them is no to my dreams. And that's going to burn you out if you say yes to everything. So therefore, for me to give you my full, undivided attention, for me to give you a therapist who is in the right state of mind, I need my weekends off. And so a little earlier this year, I was working every day. One day I was just like, you know what? I can't keep doing this. This is not sustainable. I can't keep working like this. I have to take a break. I need to take a vacation. And that's exactly what I did. Now, I never really took a full vacation, but I took some weekends off. I went to go see my friends at ISU. Man, I went to go do things that I haven't done in a while, man, because I've been neglecting it for the things that I've been doing. But at the end of the day, you got to. And the stuff keeps adding up, and I had a turning point, and I was like, you know what? No to this, no to that, no to that. And I reached a point to where I'm like, I can't keep running like this. I'm tired. It's hard for me to wake up in the morning, and this is what I got to do. And so that's why I started taking the time to myself. That's why I started 30 minutes in the morning, waking up, no TikToks, no work, just myself. Just being able to sit in my own thoughts, being able to get my day going, living in the present moment, meditating between shifts, making sure that I prioritize sleep is really what helped me. Getting my 7 to 8 hours of sleep every single night. Journaling at the end of the night to be able to reflect on my day and to be able to see on a piece of paper how my days went. Therapy. I started therapy. I saw a therapist for about a month. I cut it short, but it was great. And the reason why I cut it short, just because I don't want to leave any loose ends in the video, is because the third, fourth session, he kept asking me the same questions he was asking me in the first and second session. Therefore, I kind of determined that my therapist was a very busy therapist. And with that, he really didn't remember me. It was teletherapy, so I didn't like teletherapy because he really, we really didn't get into anything. It was just casual talk. And as me already being a therapist, I already knew everything he was telling me. Everything he was telling me are things that I've done. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I was like, you know what? He's a great therapist. He's a great guy, and I love talking with him, but I had to cut it short. So that's my little therapy experience. But at the end of the day, it was very beneficial for those 4 weeks I've been with him. I just wasn't seeking any external value than I already knew. Here's the thing that's really going to help you. And the thing that we always overlook is finding the joy in small things. Finding the joy in walking your way over here to record some videos. Finding the joy in doing your laundry. Finding the joy in riding in your car. Because when you can find joy in those small things and live in the moment, then time doesn't go by and you're not always bored and you're not always waiting for the weekend. Because you don't want to wait for the weekend. If you wait for the weekend, you're waiting for around 30% of your life. If you live for the weekend, you wait for the weekend, you're only living 30% of your life, and the rest of your life is spent waiting and overthinking and all these other things. So find joy in the small things. Immerse yourself in the small things. If you need help staying in the moment while you're doing these small things, take a deep breath and just look around and pay attention to the things around you and try to leave those thoughts in your head. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I actually have a video on my main page, how to overcome burnout in your 20s. So you need to check that out, because that's just kind of like a sit down video. Without further ado, we're going to be out for the day.